After personally speaking to thousands of auto customization shop owners and directly working with over 200 of them, I found that there is one thing that consistently separates these 7-figure shops from those who can never break past $100,000 per month. And in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly what that one thing is and how you can use it in your shop to scale past $100,000 every single month on a consistent basis. Now, the video is gonna be broken up into a few subcategories that all lead to the main idea, which you'll find at the end of the video. Now, with that being said, to create a 7-figure shop system, you need a few different things. And the first one is going to be an input-output equation. So right here, we're gonna put input/output. If you do not have an input-output equation, you will never scale your shop past $100,000 per month. And that's because your business will not be predictable. There is no predictability in your shop without inputs and outputs. And this is gonna be related to getting customers and related to getting talent. So the first thing that we're gonna speak about under this, we can say section A, is going to be customers. Now, there's a few different ways to build a consistent input-output equation when it comes to getting customers. Number one is gonna be paid ads. Now, let me actually write out exactly what this is going to look like inside of a shop, because a lot of shop owners understand the concept, right? If I run ads, then I should get more customers. But what they don't understand is the numbers. And knowing your numbers is a huge part of scaling past 7 figures. So a lot of shops, for example, will spend $50 a day on paid ads. That's $1,500 a month. And maybe off of that, they're getting, let's say window tint as our example here, we're getting $50 cost per booking. That means that we get 30 jobs across the course of this month. Now, it's not too bad, right? 30 jobs, $50 per booking. Maybe you're charging $300 per job. So that's $9,000 in revenue off of $1,500 in ad spend. Not too bad. Most shop owners would keep this running, but they also wouldn't know where to go from here. They would probably stay in the same spot, spending $1,500, getting $50 cost per booking, 30 jobs, about $9,000 in revenue on a consistent basis. You see, the thing that they don't understand is that this is an input-output equation right here. See, I/O, we'll just put that. This is an input-output equation. You're putting $50 in and you're getting one job out, and that job is paying you $300. That means that you're getting a 6x ROAS return on ad spend from this. So if you're trying to scale and you have capacity to handle more work, let's say you can do 2 jobs per day and that's your goal, instead of spending $1,500 per month, if you spend $3,000 per month and you maintain these same metrics, then you're going to get to 2 jobs per day. And it's as simple as that. A lot of you might think there's no way it's that easy. The truth is, it is that easy. It's a very, very simple equation. And this is how you see some of the top shops scaling with paid ads. There's a shop in your city right now, I guarantee you, that's making 7 figures per year with a system that looks exactly like this. So number one is gonna be a consistent way to get customers, and then underneath that, understanding your numbers. How much are you paying to get a job, and how much is that job paying you? If that's profitable, how can we scale it? Can we spend $3,000 a month? Can we spend $10,000 a month on that system? Because if you're getting $6 out for every dollar that you put in, you're gonna wanna put as much in as possible. Now, another example of this could be dealer contracts. So maybe instead of paid ads, you do dealers. Now with dealers, it's typically gonna be outreach instead of paid ads, which is gonna be more manual, but they're gonna be more consistent when you do sign them. Let's say, for example, that every 50 dealers that you go to, you get 1 contract signed. So now you know you have an input-output equation, same thing here, I/O. For every 50 dealers that you go to in person and network with, you're gonna get 1 contract signed. And maybe that contract pays you $6,000 per month. So now you can just, again, reverse engineer. Let's say $6,000 per month. If we're at $300 per job, that's 20 jobs per month. If we want to get up to 2 jobs a day, then we need to get 3 of these contracts, which means we need to go to 150 dealers. Okay, so it is literally this simple. And obviously the numbers for everything are gonna vary on your shop, your skills, your market, etc. But just using this as an example, as soon as we have an equation where we know, okay, we're going to 50 dealers, we're getting 1 contract, we can scale that, we can do more of it. It's the same concept with paid ads. Now, the other thing that you're gonna need an input-output equation for if you wanna scale is going to be employees, because once you have a way to consistently bring customers on demand, you're going to run out of capacity, meaning you're not going to have enough people to actually complete the jobs that you're bringing in. So you need a way to consistently get employees. Now, a few good ways to do this are hiring ads. Same thing as getting customers. You can run ads to hire. You need to learn what is your cost to acquire talent. So cost, we'll just say per employee. How much does it cost you to get an employee? And when you're doing this math, it's going to be more than you most likely think right now. But you have to think, if that one employee can generate you $20,000 a month every single month over the course of the year, that's an additional $240,000 that he's going to bring you. So would you be willing to pay $4,000 one time to find that employee who's going to bring you $20K a month for the rest of the year? Most likely. So this is going to very heavily depend on your market, way more than even the cost to get a customer. But find a good way to consistently spend XYZ amount of money to get a new employee. So hiring ads is number one. Number two is going to be stealing employees. Stealing employees is what a lot of our clients' favorite thing in terms of getting employees consistently. If you go to 10 shops, maybe you can get one employee that is unhappy and willing to come to you instead of the person that they're currently working with, or instead of the shop they're currently working with. This is similar to the dealers where you're going to be going in person, doing physical outreach, and maybe every 10 outreach attempts, you get one actual output. So those are the main two input-output equations that you really need to understand, as well as the numbers behind them. So input-output, and then as a subsection of this, we'll put know your numbers, because knowing your numbers is extremely important. Number two is going to be scaling. So obviously, if you want to go to 7 figures, grow to 7 figures, you're going to need to learn how to scale. This is a very broad term that you can't really do much with. Like, it's not an actionable word. So what does scaling mean? Scaling is essentially increasing the amount of inputs that you do. So scaling would be going from $50 a day in ad spend to $500 per day in ad spend, which you might think sounds crazy, but $500 a day is not an insane amount when you think about it. It's $15K a month. If your shop is bringing $200K a month, $150K, $100K a month off of that, it's not bad at all. So scaling is increasing directly the amount of input that you do, or the amount of input that you give to the system, so that you can then increase the output. That is a way more tactical definition of scaling than just saying, let's scale the shop, because you can't do anything with that term. So second thing is going to be scaling, and not being afraid to scale is a big section of that. So there's not a crazy amount that needs to go into explaining scaling the way that we do with input-output equations. The biggest thing to know is don't be afraid to put more in order to get more out, especially if you have capacity. If you've fixed the issue of knowing your numbers and of having a way to consistently get clients and consistently get employees, there's no reason why you shouldn't spend more in order to scale up. You see, a lot of shops get stressed, or they're afraid they'll get too stressed when they start to scale and their expenses go up. But let me ask you a simple question. Do you think that it's more stressful for your shop to be at 10 to 15K per month and have 5 to 10K in expenses? Or do you think it's more stressful for your shop to be doing 100 to 125K a month, but have 60 to 70K in expenses? Well, in one situation, you've only got 5K of runway every month to actually keep and potentially save for if something is to go wrong. The second one, you've got so much more runway that you're getting left with. You're getting over $50,000 per month in profit that you can then use to build a runway. So you're scaling your expenses, but you're scaling your income by an exponentially higher amount. And then the final thing, the third thing, is going to be learning when to lean location, and expand. So this is going to depend on your goals. And before we get into this section, I do want to mention we do have a free 49-page scaling roadmap that you can get, again, for free in the link in the description below. It'll show you exactly how to build your input-output equation for getting customers. And if you want more one-on-one help from my team for free, there's going to be a link to book a call in the description as well. Now, this is going to be dependent on exactly what your goals are. If your goals are to just have one location that brings in high profit every month, this is all you'll need to do, is lean out that location. If you're wanting to expand, then that's obviously when we're going to talk about expanding into more locations. So when you're scaling, your expenses are going to go up more than they theoretically need to because you're accounting for excess capacity and future growth. So once you get to, let's say you want to get to 100K a month per location, your expenses getting there might get up to the $70, $75, maybe even $80,000 per month range. However, once you're there, you're going to find areas that you can trim down on. Maybe you don't need a salesperson and a shop manager once you're at the destination. Maybe you just need a dual role who's managing the shop and doing your sales. Maybe you don't need that extra installer who's there for overflow. Maybe you can trim him out. So it's learning how to take your expenses and cut as much off of that as possible so that you can then start to pull profit out of the system. You see, the first thing is your foundation. Then you scale and you're going to have excess. You're going to have bloat when you scale. So the final stage is leaning down and maximizing the profit that you pull. Then once you've maximized your profit out of this first location and it's consistently running without your day-to-day involvement, which is key, you can expand to your next location. However, you should not expand before you've leaned out your current location and your current location does not involve you or does not need you to be involved in the day-to-day. Then when you're expanding, you simply repeat this simple cycle. It's 3 steps over and over again. You build an input-output equation for getting customers and getting employees. You scale the system and then you lean out. Growing your shop is literally that simple. If you want more advice on exactly how to build these equations, how to lean out, how to scale, there's going to be way more content on the channel. Like, subscribe. Again, get the roadmap, book a call, and we'll talk to you there.